Taj was always very iconic. There was no question of having any different impression. I saw many of the properties. The Delhi one I grew up with, the Taj Mansingh. And Mumbai, I remember visiting with children, taking a picture like everybody else does when they visit Mumbai, Gateway of India, but also the Taj. Um, Also the properties in London. That's quite familiar with. And me, there was no doubt what a few things. Number one, that this brand is very iconic. Number two, when you serve Taj, then you don't just serve hotel, you serve the nation. When the hotel opened, it was the first electrified building which had an elevator. It was the first hotel to have a licensed bar. Uh, it was the first one to have a lot of. It's the first one to have a cabaret. The whole menu which it gave to India on the Eve of Independence, which we recently served also when we celebrated 120 years, and the palaces, the safaris. I mean, the name to fame about becoming custodian of Indian hospitality, especially in the heritage positioning, that came from the Taj, that came from the Rambagh Palace and the Lake Palace, and then the other palaces followed. So I think, and also introduction of safaris, which was very, very positive. And generally speaking, I think Taj did almost everything in a very perfect way. Never reimagine a legacy brand completely. Preserve the core, go good to great set, and stimulate the purpose. Progressing a brand is not reimagining. You reimagine brands which are not timeless. So, Taj and the dome of Taj, Colaba, the palace, the Lake Palace, and the Umaid or the Rambagh Palace is number one TripAdvisor hotel of the world. When we progress it and build another palace on the grounds called Savai Manmahal, it's a progression. But we have not changed the Gayatri Suite or the Swarna Mahal restaurant of Rambagh Palace. And nor have we changed those beautiful grounds and that arrival experience that one gets out. So, my advice is timeless luxury should not ever be completely reimagined, but you have to keep making progress with time. For example, you have to use digital tools. You have to come up with new ways of providing experiences. You can't live and continue to exist on the experience you provided 30 years ago, whether it's on arrival or it's the way the beds were done, the way the linen was clothed. So I think those kind of things need to evolve, and that we have done very carefully. You know, for legacy companies, when I joined, we had finished or about to finish 115 years of our existence, and 115 years, not everything was great, and there were many patches, whether it was a world war, or it was financial crisis, or any other kind of crisis. So the resilience demonstrated by the brand with the ethos of the Tata made me firmly believe that this too shall pass. But in order to pass through that quickly, we needed strategy. And more importantly, after doing the strategy, communicating it, then execute, execute, and execute. And that's exactly what we did. Got derailed again thanks to COVID-19 for a year and a half. But then we came back to the bag and the going became very good. And I see no reason why anything should change in the near future. Because everything that we know is working really, really well. And in my first 4, 6, 8 weeks of being here, we went in a very fast forward mode. The strategy was done in first 4 weeks of my company. Firstly, it would be fair to say that we have spent more than 3 decades and it's not your first CEO job, rather the second CEO job. Before that, I was even a CDO, Chief Development Officer of a global company, and on a global level. Uh, it would be fair to actually agree that you have something in mind. You don't know exactly what, but you know certain ways things are done, strategies are made. But we took help from professor from IIM, Ahmedabad, and we had another consultant work with us, also hospitality consultant, and we did not do the strategy with 3, 4, 5 people. We got the top 30 people of the company in the city where we are right now in Goa for 2 days, and the outcome was Aspiration 2022, which then immediately, as of the next few months, went into the execution. Well, it was just top three things, which is a part of the pyramid of Aspiration 2022. It's reimagining our brandscape, restructuring our portfolio, and re-engineering our margins. So first, we had to clean the brands. When I came, this was a branded house. Everything was a bit of Taj. There was a lot of confusion. Is Vivanta a Taj? Is Gateway a Taj? Is Taj a Taj? Is Taj Palace a Taj? Uh, Taj Khazana, Taj Sano, everything was part of the main brand. And I think time had come to reimagine that and let each business stand on its own legs instead of giving them the support of Taj, so they never actually mature or grow. So we reimagined our brandscape and communicated it, introduced a platform called Selections, reimagined completely Ginger and Vivanta. Basically, everything that was disturbing the Taj was taken away and made to stand on its own feet. Then, in terms of re-engineering our margins, we were at 17% and we were averaging 13, 14% for the previous 10 years. And we communicated that we will go to 25% EBITDA margin, which in the later phase of now got communicated as 33%. So almost more than 2.5x increase in our margin expansion, which came from both the growth in top line as well as the optimization of costs so that your bottom line increases. Taking out all the debt in the company, being a debt-free company, so we are net debt zero today. So I think a lot of those positives have come together quite well. And finally, the restructuring of the portfolio, and that was because it's a legacy. We have a lot of subsidiaries, a lot of other companies. So how we restructure that, how we could combine certain entities so that a simplification happens in our portfolio. That journey is still on. It's not something. It's always work in progress and will stay. We have partnerships, 4 decades. In one case, even 5 decades. The ethos of Tata Group, we respect the partners. We're very fair, transparent, and honest in our dealings. So, if the partners want to take advantage and capitalize of the ongoing business that we have, very good, you're welcome, happy to do so. If they want to stay and maintain status quo, talk to them. And if they still want that, then we leave it the way it is. The founder gave the name Indian Hotels Company Limited. It has had 122 AGMs. So the company is formed first, and the hotel Taj in Mumbai opened in 1903. So for whatever reasons best known, I think my guess is when India became independent, India was a poor country, then it was a developing country, then it was a fast-growing country. Today it's like number 5 economy in the world, where all the pundits say it will be the number 3 economy. So I think while India was changing, this change was necessary so that we utilize the umbrella brand that was provided by our founder Jamshedji Tata. That's all we did. We just shortened the Indian Hotels Company Limited into IHCL, made that the umbrella, and allowed each of those brands underneath IHCL to mature and grow, and as I said earlier, be on their own feet. Well, I think the brand was so iconic, and I think people wanted to be only associated with that name. And I said, even I want to be associated with Taj. Always want. But that has nothing to do with the business. So we have to look at IHCL as just a B2B. It's a business brand. It is not a consumer brand. It's an umbrella which provides the right kind of structure and status to all the businesses underneath. Having said that, Taj was, is, and will always be the backbone of the company. And Taj emerged stronger. So I think, one thing is when we talk emotion, the other is when we talk figures. So from a 30 hotel portfolio or 34, Taj went to 100 plus in operation or under development. So today we have almost 85 Taj hotels in operation. And the revenues alone of Taj brand exceeded what used to be the company's revenue, like 6 years ago. So I think ultimately what benefited the most is our icon of Taj. The others are still in a growing phase and will take another 3 to 5 to 7 years to mature. So we're almost there, like 90%, and that makes it fascinating. A new Indian food and beverage brand, bringing other people's brand, which we never did, like with AB InBev, we got Seven Rivers to come to India and just exclusively partner with us. With Paper Moon from Italy, we got a new Italian concept. We developed our own Indian called Loya, very successful, has already become the highest selling Indian restaurant of Bangalore. So I think a lot of great things, especially what we did with our private membership club, the Chambers, which has become like a model for the hotel sector. See, one thing, and this is the first time I'm saying it in an interview on video, is we did not change one person in the senior leadership. So all this transformation happened with the same. And a lot of people have had a chance to grow into senior positions because the company was growing. And the roles have expanded also in the executive committee that we have. So we have introduced a captain cellar, which is our version of the European Vinotheque. The captain cellar is a very unique dining space with a collection of wines from across the globe, and very affordable because you also get wines to taste before you actually buy them. And obviously it's in our flagship in Delhi that we launched this, and we are very proud of it. We see this as a very good image builder from a brand point of view. Be able to do things which are very different. It's not just serving some butter chicken or a tandoori tikka or whatever. It's something very, very special. Things can be done different. So the only choice you have is to do it by leading, and leading by example. So at some point, human beings are fair and genuine, and if they see merit in doing certain things, they will just follow. So there will be early starters and there will be late adopters. But ultimately, in the end, we all get there. And today, I would say the majority of the company is so aligned, and that is how we're able to absorb this kind of growth. Biggest risk was actually communicating what we're going to do. And should that have not happened, then, become the company's image goes down, your own professional standing goes down. Actually, like going and giving figures, this is what we'll go by 15 hotels per annum. We actually did more than 20. We'll grow the margin by 800 basis points. That was like a very big bet that was doable. And that requires a lot of grit. That requires a lot of courage. But it also requires a lot of teamwork and the ability to navigate through good and bad times. This generational change keeps happening. But I think it also happened in my life journey. And ability to adapt is critical. Ability to proactively capture the changes and embracing them is very important. And it's very important for all strong brands, especially in service sector, If you're not able to do that, how will you ever understand the needs and wants of a customer? So I think maybe all hoteliers are naturally gifted that it does not matter at which level they are uh, to embrace change faster than maybe other sectors. We are also dealing with so many different kinds of customers and so many different generations. Let's say sitting at the same time in a restaurant. Now, you cannot be not adapting your approach to each table that you are looking after. So it starts right at the time when you're maybe starting your career as a server, uh, to when you become a manager and then you're leading the whole hotel, both towards the customers and all other stakeholders which are equally. Taj became world's strongest hotel brand for 3 years, India's strongest brand across all sectors for 4 years in a row now. Thrice is number one and once is number two. So I think the proof is in the pudding. One is we talk and we strategize and then we execute, but nothing comes out. The other is whatever we did actually worked in practice and has actually become a Harvard Business School case study of the transformation of the company. The journey has been very fulfilling, very satisfying. Working with all our people. I have to say this, I'm not saying because I work for this company, we just have wonderful, good people. And we say when we talk about the Taj, when we say Taj is Dil se, right? It's not really a process driven luxury. So I think that cannot come only towards the guests if you're not having people who are actually like that. So I think that way the journey has been very fulfilling. The second important thing is about having made a difference. When you're able to actually make a difference, you tend to enjoy and cherish that journey. It's just good to see a lot of growth of people. As the company has grown after signing in this time 170 new agreements, opening almost 2 hotels a month. Just imagine the platform of growth that has been provided to the people who've been working in this legacy. So many people are on their third or fourth promotion since the 6 years that I joined. So I think growth mindset evolved so strongly, not just with the new properties, but growth of revenue, growth of digital, growth of brands, growth of food and beverage offerings, growth of associates, people going for higher education, scholarships, abroad that sending people to INSEAD, sending people to ESSEC, Cornell, Stanford, La Roche in Switzerland. So I think it's a lot of things that give you satisfaction of having actually done. See, first of all, this Gen Z is an opportunity. Biggest opportunity that hotel sector has ever had. And the reason is very simple. They want to live in the now. They don't want to live either in the past or in the future that we will spend in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. So, who is the beneficiary? They are traveling now. Where are they staying in hotels? Now. This is not like my generation or my parents who were saving for, that once we'll have so much, then we will do this, then when we'll do that, then we'll do the next thing. The current generation is that we are a bit blessed because it has not seen any partition, it has not seen any wars. It's inherited or is inheriting a lot of family property. And with their own jobs, they are just going for long weekends and especially post-COVID, there is a permanent change in a lot of consumer behavior. So when people were locked in, later we spoke about pent-up demand, but it's not anymore pent-up. So of the 300, 500 million relevant people, if only 3 or 5 became travelers who would take out the car and drive for a long weekend and do that only for 5, 6 nights a year, it gives you 25 million additional room nights without new supply coming into the market. So that's how I see this change, this trend and the generations, very positive for the sector. And we talk about the future of hospitality. Future of hospitality has to be bright. The sector was demolished. Fear was inculcated in people that if you go to a hotel, you get COVID. Restaurants were shut, hotels were shut. our revenue became zero. See what happened. Ultimately, we want to go and have a good time, celebrate your joy, whether it is because of a wedding or it is because of a holiday or it's because you got promoted. You're not only going to sit at home. And hotel is a place to see and to be seen. Number two is tourism. I think tourism and travel has also a bright future because no other place gives you so much satisfaction as travel does. You can buy a television, you can buy a car, but travel helps you to see, helping you to see new things, experience new things, learn new things, creates a knowledge bank which is not possible to be acquired in any school or college. So I think that is also very good for the nations. It's very good for the economy. It's very good for tolerance, especially in a world that we are living now. And spirituality is gaining and gaining more and more in meaning. I'm not saying religion, but spirituality in leadership. And the enabler for all this has to be travel. And if the enabler is travel, then the beneficiary of the travel is of course also hospitality. So I think the future is brighter than it ever has been. A lot of new spiritual destinations. We are already present in more than 50. But there will be several, like we've signed 3 hotels in a. So at some point they will open. I think Ayodhya will become one of the places to go and see. And it may take 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, but it will be a destination which is either similar or larger than Rome or Makkah. See, ultimately hotels will still have a room and the rooms will have a bathroom and there will be a place to eat, whether it's 5 places to eat or 1 place to eat, but there will be some place where you have to serve breakfast or lunch or dinner, whatever your customer wants. What is changing is instead of very large spaces, very big offices, it's moving more and more towards a bit more boutique, a bit more, unique, special, and at the same time interactive. So people don't want to be alone in one corner. They are okay to sit on a high table and share that high table with 4 other people in the lobby of any hotel, whether it's in Delhi, Mumbai, Frankfurt, New York, or London. Does not matter. So I think that's a cultural shift. These kind of shifts will keep happening. Whether they happen in 5 years, and the next one comes in another 10 years, and the next one in another 15 years. This is a normal evolution. And it comes to your previous question, to the generational change. Each generation wants to do things differently. And the sector needs to keep adapting itself. I think that the sector historically has done well and will do that also in the future. Actually, I joined hotel business sitting and waiting for a table in Machan, the famous coffee shop. Now we want to call it the all-day dining, but that was how coffee shop business got introduced in the capital of India. And I did not live very far away. We used to walk, a bunch of our friends. After 10 or 11, we could only afford Kona coffee, which in my times was at 4 rupees, and you could have as many helpings as you wanted. This was also the introduction of what was then called the bread basket, the bread rolls and the breadsticks. After some time, the associates working in Machan got to know us. So with coffee, they also used to give us free bread basket, and that was where we used to hang out. Then with my school friends, we went there. And all these years that I was not in the country, almost 3 decades, every time I came back, our reunion was at the Machan, at the Mansingh. So at some point, when I was in class 11 or 12, and thinking what I should do next, I was so fascinated what was happening at Taj Mansingh. I thought, ye theek hai, ye main bhi kar sakta. So that's exactly how the whole journey in hotel business started. Half of my time I spent in journey. The other half was in Paris and in Brussels. And both these being pays francophone, they balance out quite well. So if I think I'd come only with the German mindset, would have been difficult. But okay, jokes apart, I think the mantra that I've had always is if you have American marketing, which my time with Carlson companies of Minneapolis and later Carlson Residor gave me that exposure. European management, which living in Europe, working and leading a European German company, uh, gives you that experience. But the emotional touch and intelligence of Asia and in particular India, if you can marry the three in your leadership style, you should be able to do quite well.